Hello and welcome to 4000 and Counting, brought to you by Hurricane E-Bikes. I'm Watty. Apologies for no Mark today, but I am joined by Joe Hazeldine instead, all the way from one of my favourite cities on the entire earth, Budapest. Love a Brits abroad. Joe, welcome to the show, my friend.
No, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Mate, talk about being excited. How about landing in Budapest for a spot?
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty probably one of the best spots to be in Europe. So I'm staying in a little town about 25, 30 minutes from there, but it's the trains every 15 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna go and check that out soon.
Obviously, we've always had a segment on this podcast. It was Brits abroad. We always like to keep an eye on the boys that go away. Now, obviously, you're a young guy and you've taken an opportunity at this early stage to go out and test yourself in Europe. How did that come around, and how easy of a decision was it to jump at the chance?
I wouldn't say it was an easy decision, but it's something that I've always wanted to do. Just take my career overseas and just see kind of what else is out there. And look, I was lucky enough to get this move. It's more of a sideways move at the moment, I'd say, but hopefully it brings me on to bigger and better things in the future. But no, I'm definitely excited to be here. It's been a tough few weeks, training camp and everything like that, but it's all for the right reasons, and I'm excited to get going.
So we were talking off air. Talk the UK crowd through what you're doing right now for preseason.
So we're on the ice twice a day, every day. And then we got 10 minutes to get changed after we get off the ice and get up into the gym, hour and a half in the gym. We go for food. They provide it all, and
Perfect.
Just in a nice little restaurant. So it's nice to bond with you guys, and obviously it's difficult with the language, but yeah, we do that, and then we're back on the ice in the afternoon, more of like a skill skate. Still pretty intense, but it's good. And then last week, I think it reached like 36 degrees, so every day we was just out half an hour after practice running just to get the cardio up. And it was just like, yeah, I'm not used to this, but yeah, it's something that it's going to help us in the long run, definitely.
Are you one of the guys that enjoys working out and lifting and stuff like that, or do you just do it because you have to, like my brother?
Uh, yeah, no, last couple of years I've started to enjoy it, but I'd say when I was a 16-year-old, just wanted to play pro. I was just like, yeah, I just want to be on the ice and show off some of the talent that I had. But the running side of things is fine. I keep
Oh,
myself,
really? You like the
yeah, I
running?
keep myself fit. It's just the gym, working out and stuff like that. But yeah, no, last couple of years I've definitely started to take it more seriously.
So just looking through your roster there, you touched on there being a language barrier. So we've got a Kazakh, a Czech, obviously yourself being a Brit, a Belarusian, and perhaps, if mistake me if I'm wrong, the goaltender's Russian. So it's not even like they're North American boys either, is it? It's not like you got
No.
four Canadians that all speak perfect English. So how's the language barrier been for you over this first fortnight?
Yeah, it's most of the guys speak English. The Russians, I'm sharing a car with them in the minute, so they're taking me to the ring. So yeah, it's quiet journeys, but they're getting there, and I'm trying to learn a bit of Hungarian just to try and be a better human, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. Most of the speak English, and then I'm just picking up on little things of Hungarian,
Just
ordering a
don't.
coffee and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good. Just don't do like the old Steven Gerrard where you try and do the interview in like a Saudi accent. It's like the Saudi Scouse accent. It's like, mate, we know you don't speak Saudi. You can just speak English. It's fine. What's the standard been like over the last couple of weeks? Are you impressed with the skill level and the like compete level with the boys?
Yeah, definitely. It's a young team, so everyone's hungry and everyone wants to prove themselves. So yeah, I'm definitely impressed. Obviously, when I was signing, I was looking at the record, and they didn't have a good record last year. But there was a young team that was, I think they only won 4 or 5 games. But this year, with in training camp, that's been the focal point that we're not going to have another year like that. And I think it shows on the ice and how serious they're taking training camp. I don't even think other teams in this league have started yet. So
okay.
it's just like, yeah, we got a few warm-up games, but no, I've been impressed, and it's yeah, I'm excited to get going.
Looking at last year's team, actual podcast guest and friend of mine, Eugenia Cisas. He led the team in scoring last year, but I've seen that he's moved on. Who's the guy that you look at training camp right now and go, this guy's gonna put us on his back and score a few goals for us?
Probably Jan Blasko. He's hard to miss out there. I think he's 6'6", 6'7", maybe.
Big boy. Jeez.
Yeah, he had a good year in the league last year, but there's a few guys on ICHL deals that are coming down that are pretty special as well. So yeah, the skill level is definitely a lot better than what I thought it would be.
So for those that don't know, the Extra League is just below that IHH. Easy for me to say, ICHL. The plan obviously being is to impress at this level, and then, well, I'm putting words in your mouth, but I imagine the plan is to do well at this level and then get the opportunity, whether it be in that league or a different league in Europe, but really use this as a stepping stone to like further your career.
Yeah, 100%. I think hopefully just this year, just maybe jump on a couple of practices or whatever it is, just to try and get, a feel for the higher end leagues in Europe. So yeah, my plan's not definitely to stick around in Europe, and I think that's one thing that's I've wanted to do since I was, when you realize the NHL dream's over.
Yeah, when it's over.
Just try and play in the top leagues in Europe. So yeah, wherever that may be. But I'm happy to be here right now and just prove myself at this level first.
Well, you were one of the lads that actually went away during lockdown and you ended up playing a bit in Germany. What was that experience like? Obviously, everything's locked down, so it's a bit shit. But
yeah,
to get out and play hockey and still have some fun with your pals, what was the experience like there?
Yeah, it was amazing. Honestly, I was lucky enough. Corey Nielsen was the coach of the Del 2 team. So, 19, 20 years of age, skating with them every day, and that I know I didn't play at that level, but I managed to get a couple of preseason games and be on the ice with those kind of guys. It was unbelievable, and when everyone else was shut down, I felt like I was taking bigger strides. Got to play in the fourth league in Germany. I mean, it was okay level, but it was just something to pass the time whilst everyone was shut down. And yeah, me and Mac was taking on the German fourth league.
I was just looking at that. Mac had 19 points in 7 games.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the point production he's been putting up in the national since he dropped down to that league, mate. Honestly,
yeah.
Fucking too good for that league. Watching him play at it, he's just blowing by guys. He's so fast. But how cool was it? Like Mac's obviously a podcast guest. I've known him since he was like a 10-year-old lad. How was it having him out there? Because it's always nice to have a boy to lean on out in a foreign country.
Yeah, exactly. It's just nice to just, you've got the same banter levels, or you can crack jokes, and it's the same kind of what you're used to. And yeah, it was good. Just we lived together, so whether we couldn't obviously do much because COVID, but we traveled to the rink, and it was just fun just to have someone around that I could speak normal language with. And then we had in the DL2 team, Robert Farmer was there, so
yeah,
it was just more of a homey feel. It was my first time away from home, so it was nice to just have familiar faces around.
Farms is a fucking beauty as well. How weird is it that he just came back and just stopped playing hockey? Like, he's so good. He was out playing in Del 2, doing bits, and then he was coming down the family thing, which I respect. Like, he's come to do the family thing. I totally respect it. But just talent-wise, having his talent sat on the sidelines is a bit of a kick in the dick for GB. Yeah.
Obviously, personal reasons and stuff like that. He must have just hit a wall, which I can see happening. But it was weird. But yeah, hopefully he's doing all right now.
Yeah, well, a few of these young pups are in there snapping at the heels now. Is GB something that's on your radar that you because I know some of the Brits they're dead keen on it. Some are like, if I make it, I make it. But is it something that you want to be a long stay in the GB lineup eventually?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think it's probably one of my biggest goals to try and achieve. Obviously, I got that little sniff a couple of years ago at the preseason,
Yeah,
not pre-tournament camp.
pre-tournament stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, and played a few games, but last year when I didn't make it or just get on the long list, it was kind of disappointment because I felt like maybe I'd took a step backwards, but obviously wasn't the case. It was just obviously a few people come in and had good years. So, but no, I'm definitely wanting to be on that list this summer. This summer coming up. So yeah, hopefully it's probably one of my biggest goals, and hopefully I can get there.
well, anyone that's been listening to this pod, which all of you are, otherwise you won't be hearing what I'm saying right now. We've been talking about you and your kid brother being kind of stalwarts in the GB team for years to come. Question is, who makes it first and cements their place first? And is there fucking bants on the line for whoever's in there first and like gets that spot?
Yeah, well, he's definitely up and coming, but I'd
Oh,
like
he's
to
good,
think,
man.
yeah, he's really good, and I'd like to think I'm there just before him, but I'm sure it won't be
Sure, he's got something to say
far
about
behind.
that.
Yeah.
So
But
were you two competitive growing up? Were you pushing each other, maybe giving each other a little dig here and there, play a bit of street hockey?
oh, yeah, but I was probably more competitive. He's ever so just like laid back. We're so far apart on that wavelength that we're just completely different. But yeah, it was always me dragging him to the gym or dragging him outside to shoot pucks, and it's nice to just see that he's made it his own way. He hasn't made it just because he's got a brother. It was
Yeah,
he's done his own way, and I'm ever so proud of him, and hopefully he's got a long career ahead of him as well.
I would imagine so, mate. If he builds on what he did last year and he takes his opportunity this year, which I'm sure he will, that's only good news for British hockey. Talking about carving out your own way, coming out of juniors, you couple of games for the Lions, D side, but then 17, 18, you took the opportunity to move down to Swindon, and I think it was probably the first year of that NIHL league before it
Yeah,
went to the national, where there was, I think, Streatham were in and a couple of other teams were in that year. What was that like, having played juniors? You get a bit of a sniff with the Lions, but then you're going up and playing 31 games for the Wildcats. You're chucking in 17, 18 points and actually really being a part of it. How important was that?
yeah, it was again huge. I think that league definitely played a part in my development and getting steps in the senior game as well. And it was great. We had a young team in Swindon. It was a great laugh. And obviously, I was skating with the Panthers in the week and then going down to play games. So I'm still getting quality time on the ice and stuff like that. But no, it was good to be a bigger part of a team, and I'm thankful that Aaron gave me that chance down in Swindon.
How many boys did you see Maxi switch off that year? Had their head up their ass. He hits like a train.
Yeah, well, he ain't got the nickname Boom Boom for no reason.
Yeah, right. Honestly, watching guys play against him for the first time, I'm like, oh, they don't know. Like they don't know. They're cutting to the middle with their head down. They're gonna wake up sore tomorrow. But that's what, like you say, you had some young guys in that roster, but you had some good experience you can lean on. Aaron Nell's there, Phil Hill's there, guys that have been there, Sammy Zajac. For a defenseman like yourself, how was it leaning on guys like Sammy? Because he's like probably the most dependable D man that you could ever get. We really hope you're enjoying this interview, but while we've got you here, don't forget to go check out our good friends at Hurricane e-bikes for all your latest and greatest in e-bike technology. Hurricane are right there leading the way at the top of the market. My personal favorite is the RS8 off-road bike. They obviously got another favorite of mine, the F200 20-inch fat boy, the fat bike. It is an absolute beast. That's not your thing. Maybe the H250 cruiser bike or even the M250 mountain bike. But hey, if you're around this weekend, and you're at Basingstoke Carfest over there in Laverstoke, I am assured that the whole Hurricane e-bike team are going to be there to facilitate your needs, whether it is purchasing a bike or if it's just maintaining your own bike, because they do offer pay-as-you-go, lifetime warranty, unlimited services, no service costs, no need to buy. You can spread it out. You can just rent and pay a monthly subscription fee, no interest costs, no long-term agreement, no maintenance cost. No worries at all. So if you're around about the area, go check them out at Carfest. If not, head to hurricane.bike and you'll get all the latest and greatest in e-bike technology.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, Sammy's probably done it all. He was in Glasgow, I think, the year before, maybe a couple of years before. So just knowing that he'd been there and done what I was trying to achieve, I lent on him massively. Just try and watch little things that he does, whether it's on the ice or off the ice. Just try and pick up on those little things that guys are doing that have been to the highest level in that country. So, yeah, no, again, it all played a part, and it's nice to have, the young mix in with the old sometimes, and just so you can still have your fun with the young boys. But
yeah. Well, yeah, you got guys like Jordan Kelso and that was there. He's now gone on and he's a regular with the Panthers, playing good minutes and doing a good job. I think he's a great little player and fantastic on the kill, finishes every hit. And it is these opportunities where you go from that league and you take a step up. You really got to grab the opportunity. That was also your first opportunity to play 6 games for the Panthers. Being a Nottingham boy, that must have been pretty special, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Obviously, it's your hometown team and you grew up your whole life supporting them, and yeah, it was certainly a weird experience not going down to watch the games but go and play them. So
yeah, go get your kit on.
Yeah. But no, it was honestly like a massive achievement for me, and having my family there close by to come and watch, it was just, yeah, it was great.
The following season, you kind of split your time, a lot more games with the Panthers that year, 19 and second season. But you split your time with my boy Tommy Watkins down there in Telford. What was it like going down to Telford, playing with Tommy? He's a great guy, super knowledgeable. I mean, he had a testimonial in the Elite League and the fucking NIHL. The guy's had 2 testimonials, so he definitely knows his stuff. What was it like playing for Tom?
Yeah, it was good. It was great, actually. Just, again, I had that bigger role, and Weaves was obviously there, so
amazing.
There's no better person to look at every week at training and just pick up on things that they do. But no, it was good. Again, it was fun, and yeah, had a blast.
Bit of a different though, from going from Swindon to the retirement home that is Telford. We had Dougie Clarkson, you had Silver, Planty, Andy Mack, Scotty Mack. Some old men on that team. What was that like as a young guy? Those old boys keep you on your toes or what?
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of a culture shock. But no, it was fun.
God, I forgot Warren Tate on that. He's about the same age as my dad. He's still playing as well for the Dogs. I love it.
Yeah, so yeah, they definitely kept you on the toes, and you had to be wary about things you were saying or whether you was talking too much in the changing room. But yeah, he just kind of speak when spoken to.
How special is Weaves? I mean, he must have been probably late 30s that year, and he still got 60 points in 28 games.
Yeah, it was crazy. Just like, he never really seemed to get tired. He just walk around and be in the right positions, load up a cannon, slap shot, run probably both power plays at that time. It was great to see, and just kind of, that's, if I can have half a career of what he had, I'm sure I'll do all right.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Oh, it's crazy how good he was. I think he started as a forward, ended up as a D-man, and the one thing that you said that really rings home, he's never in the wrong position.
No.
Which
it was just like,
saves you energy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And no matter how fast the young guys were coming down on him, it was just like no one could ever beat him, and always in the right position.
Always in the right position, sticks in the right lane, body in the right lane, forcing you to somewhere you don't want to be taking the puck. And that's a sign of a very good defenseman. The fact that he can then chuck in 60 points on top of that is unreal. You got your first kind of taste of GB18s round about that time, the year before in Swindon, and then Telford. You get your second go round. You get a letter on your jersey. How cool was it to have a letter on your jersey playing for GB?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Obviously, anytime you play for GB is a massive honour, but then to be known as a leader, it was amazing. It was actually here in Farivar where we played the tournament. So
Oh, okay, nice.
yeah, funny how things all come back around. But yeah, it was good to be part of the leadership group, and obviously being probably one of the better guys when you was growing up, you was always just made the captain because you could
Because
score
that was
goals.
it. Yeah, yeah, that was literally it. Yeah.
So it was something that I'd always been, and then obviously, just leading people having a different role and making sure everyone's all right. It was something that I want to be in the future, definitely.
Looking at your second year there playing with the GB18s, Kieran Brown, Alex Graham, Mason Bidoff. Then you've got Brad Bowen. He's had an exceptional year in Peterborough last year, and I mean he's only going to continue to get better. With those boys, obviously, very sad that we lost Alex. There's a couple of names on that list that I think will be in that GB setup in the future. You've got Kieran Brown and Mason for sure. What do you think of those boys' talent?
It was special. It was every time we got together because obviously I think Mason was playing abroad when we was all going for GB camps, so he never came to the camps. He was just kind of
just
his
a
name's
walk on.
yeah, you're gonna play. So yeah, seeing him play was just they put a ridiculous amount of numbers. They probably don't even have to try sometimes, and obviously we all know what Kieran's doing in the National League.
It's a joke, by the way, like an absolute joke.
But you always knew he was going to be the top guy wherever he played. So yeah, it's good to see that they're still putting up ridiculous points.
As someone that's been in the Elite League for the past 3 seasons, do you see guys like Kieran Brown and Mason and Brad eventually following in those footsteps and going down the Elite League route as well?
I hope so. I mean, I know it's obviously a difficult decision, but yeah, I hope they want to further their career a little bit more and maybe challenge themselves. But yeah, they can. There's no doubt that they can play in this league. Definitely, it's just whatever they want to do.
Well, you got another teammate from that GB roster there who has just committed to go full time this year. Sam Talbot, he's gone full time to Guildford. Watching his development over the last 2 seasons, I would definitely say he's ready. Is that exciting to see that some of the boys on that roster are taking these spots now?
Yeah, and I think hopefully there's this new wave coming in now with younger guys wanting to take some older guys' spots, and I think people like Sam, it was the right time to maybe step up and challenge themselves more, and take this next opportunity with both hands.
So I said you've been in the Elite League for 3 years, technically 2, because one of them was the Elite Series. You come back from Germany, obviously, to be part of this Elite Series. How did you find playing in that? I mean, for us that were all sat at home, it was nice to have something to watch. But what was that experience like, getting tested every day, being in a hotel, being locked down? It's just a weird vibe.
Yeah. Some dark days, I would say, where you just sat in the hotel just playing Xbox. There's only so much Xbox you can play, right? So
yeah,
it was obviously nice to just play and be a part of a team again, and you're doing something that you love again. So it's not really too bad, but it is what it was. It was 6 weeks, and we could play hockey, but yeah, it was a difficult when you're just sat around doing nothing, playing cards or whatever. It's just
there's only so much you can do, right?
Yeah.
How savage was Kirky in that tournament?
Yeah,
joke. I think he finished 2 points a game.
Yeah, I don't think he needed to play, but I wanted to. That's fine, but yeah, he got the goal of the tournament just dancing around me. So.
Oh, was it around you? Was it?
Yeah, that's that one.
Yeah, he'll probably get that tagged up on your Instagram for your birthday or something. But I was actually very, very pleasantly surprised with the standard. I kind of liked the mix of import and Brit. Let's have a look. What we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 imports.
Yeah, I mean,
I liked it. It was good.
yeah, I think you know the elite league's never going to cut down to that many so
No,
fast.
never.
Um, but I think if we can, the only way the English guys are going to get better is through playing, not by having 15, 16 imports. And the elite leagues took that decision now, and it is what it is.
As a young Brit that was in the elite league, you see these numbers changing. Is that fucking annoying for you?
Yes and no. I think I was all right. I had a spot, and it's nice to know that you're there and you're in the team. But guys that are on the brink and having to find new teams just because they're bringing in a guy that's probably got the same resume as some of the other people. It's tough to see. I think it's definitely got to get a little bit lower so that the national team can keep progressing. But
is there a sweet spot for you, numbers wise? Because this is something we ask the imports, we ask the Brits. Obviously, I've had my fucking say on it plenty. I'm a Brit guy, but to be honest, as much as I'm a Brit guy, I think this year moving the number up made sense for the league, which I can't believe I'm actually saying, but it did because Brownie and that aren't stepping up yet. If all those boys went, fuck it, right, we're ready, we'll all step up, 10 good guys, 11 good guys, then you could instantly just do away with that rule.
Yeah.
But until those good boys are ready to step up, I don't want to just be bringing in like NIHL 1 North guys to sit on the bench just to make up a number. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, true. And I think that's what you're saying, right? You've got to find a happy medium where, you're not killing the game by having people that aren't ready to play, and fans still got to come out and watch a decent outfit, whether it's, I don't know, 10 to 12 would be a nice number. But yeah, you got to find the happy medium, and when guys are ready to step up, I think that's when we'll see it.
Well, we're never going to get another Ben Bounds unless someone gives a netminder an opportunity. We talk about, like, oh, where's the next Robert Dowd come from? People forget Dowd, he was down in the EPL, he stepped up, he made his shot. Same as a lot of guys. Kieran Long ripped up the EPL for years before Manchester gave him a shot. He puts up 60 odd points in Manchester, and now he's got his job in Belfast. Like,
exactly.
there's good progression.
Plays a part, definitely, is developing people like that have come through and wanting to take the career to the next level. It's definitely playing a part, and then it's also playing the part for the guys that just want to play for a bit of fun and still have a full-time job.
Yeah, I think what Finner did with, I'll use Kieran for example, he brought him in and he put him on the top 2 lines, give him some power play reps, and he repaid you with points. Because what tends to happen is you'll get a guy who's really good at national, and then they'll bring him up and they want him to fucking grind and play defense in the elite league, and it's like, that's not what's got me to the elite league. And now you're going and giving me limited roles, limited touches, limited reps on the PP. Whereas, like, if Kieran goes up next year, for example, you put him on the top 2 lines and you give him the reps, and he will produce. You get him fucking back checking on the 4th line. Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's what guys are used to as well, and it's I think that's one thing for me that I was lucky enough to go down and play. I was on them. I was in the top 4 pair, and I had power play time, and I think that helped me make my transition to the elite league a lot better. Obviously, you don't get the PP time, and you probably
you don't mind if there's an AHL defenseman who got 40 points last year. You go, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But I think just playing in key situations and making sure that you still know how to do it, and you're ready whenever that situation comes up.
So after you decided, look, you've done because you had a little loan spell in Peterborough before, you did the 30 games in Nottingham. Then we have the lockout where you're doing Germany, you're doing the Elite Series. You played for Manchester in the Elite Series. Is that how you ended up going to Manchester? Was there ever any communication to perhaps go back to Nottingham, or what kind of made that decision for you then?
It was, yeah, it actually, I'd signed before the Elite Series just because I wanted to just go and play
Yeah.
and just, you know, be on a, have a role and not just sit on the bench in Nottingham all the time. So that's how it came about. And then, yeah, I played the Elite Series, enjoyed it, got told that I was, you know, I'm going to be a key part in the six defenseman. So, yeah, just made that decision to just be in Manchester for the next season and just see how it went. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and it was nice to just be on the team and not just sit on the bench.
Obviously I've done it, but for those that haven't, how tough is it when you know you've got the skill, you know you got the talent, you know you got the work ethic, but you can't get off the fucking bench because the coach got you super glued to the bench, and you don't actually ever, they want you to prove yourself, but you can't prove yourself if you're not getting on the ice. How frustrating is that for a young Brit?
Yeah, it was very tough. I lost a lot of love for the game, and there was a couple of years where, you know, when you're 18, 19, you shouldn't be, and you come to the rink every day. It doesn't matter how hard you work or how much effort you're putting in. You know that you're just going to be cemented on the fourth line or be the seventh or eighth defenseman. It was tough, and I couldn't really understand. But I just knew I had to be patient, and whenever that chance come, just try and prove myself. But yeah, it's difficult, and I understand why guys, you know, get to a certain age and they just get sick of it, so they either drop to the lower league or just stop playing completely. But you know, you got to persevere, and hopefully it repays you in the long run.
So then you land in Manchester that following season. You've got who you got on D there? You got Sully, you got Dallas Earhart, you got one of my favorite fucking human beings on the entire earth, Lyndon Springer. Talk to me about going into that D group, and talk to me about Lyndon, because what a beauty. 195 pims that year, just switching guys off on the regular.
Yeah, it's we definitely built a decor to play in that rink. I would
Yep.
say that.
Yep.
And then there was just me, just a scrawny little kid. But no, it's there was obviously great guys, and Springs takes you under his wing, just probably like he does to every other person
Yeah.
that's younger than him. But no, it was good fun. I learned a lot of just being around people like that, and you know, that will stick up for you, and the team comes first. You know, you pick up on little notes like that. But yeah, it was interesting, and going into that room and just being one of the smallest guys, and just, you know, just taking in everything, not really having much to say in the locker rooms.
Am I right in thinking Dallas is getting a testimonial this year? Or did I just make that up?
I think so, yeah.
I think I want to say that I saw something, but he's been there since 2016. The guy is pretty much as long as Manchester have been back in the Elite League. He's been there. How important is having him in around that and the GB setup?
Yeah, you know, I run everything by Dallas. When I made that GB squad the first time around, just kind of what's it like, and just asking him little questions. But you know, he's been there, he's done it all in the Elite League, so puts up ridiculous numbers every year. And then for him to just be like a safety blanket going into the training camp, having someone to know, yeah, it was definitely nice and made the transition a lot easier.
Obviously, that's your first time living away from home in the Elite League. You've done it in the lower leagues. How did you find living in Manchester as a spot? It's one of my favorite places in the UK.
Oh yes, it's a great city, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun. We had a Brit house, so
So
it
who
was
was it? You, Sally, Harry?
Solds,
Oh yeah, forgot he was there.
and Downey, the
Oh,
goalie.
goalie, yeah. He got
So,
a wicked pic. Was it that year he got the really good picture through centre ice with all the boys and he's diving through it? I think it after was that a shootout win?
yeah,
I think it might have been a shootout win. What a character. Love
yeah.
that.
I think it was against Nottingham actually.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
always feels good to get when you leave a team. It always feels good to get one over, especially if it's your hometown team. I used to get booed in Basingstoke when I played for the away team. I was like, fucking hell. I started playing it when I was 6. I went all the way through to the senior team, and now you're booing me. By the way, I love it. But yeah, what was it like having guys like Adam Brady on your roster, because he was a weapon?
Yeah, he speaks for himself. It's how good he is, and yeah, it's nice. He was probably a true professional. He was always at the optional practices, working on his whatever it wants to work on, and kind of just be a sponge around people like that want to, better themselves. And yeah, he was fun to watch. Some of the stuff that he did in games or practices, it'd embarrass you, but
Oh, he
you
was
know,
doing it against everybody as well. He was doing it
yeah,
against the top
yeah,
teams, doing it against the bottom teams. He didn't take a night off. He was over a point a game that year.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, learn a lot from people like that just you know want to come in, do the extra, and it repays them, like they say.
You made the decision to stay in Manchester for last season, although it was all changed because Ginner took over as a coach. What was it like having a goalie as a head coach? Sometimes sometimes it's great, sometimes it takes a little bit of bedding in. But from the guys I spoke to, they seem to think he was all right.
Yeah, I think he did well. Obviously, he'd never done it before, so being having a first year and getting out of the way was definitely, I think, smooth as it could probably be, really. But I guess they have a different view of how they watch the game, so they pick
Yeah.
up on stuff that maybe you don't think, or you got more time where you don't have you don't have it in real life. So we pretty much played the same kind of systems as the year before. So it
You
was
don't really have much choice in Manchester as a home rink. Like you
yeah,
have a couple of systems that you can go to and then just block the house out and make people get battered and
yeah,
bruised if they want to win in there.
exactly. Just 1-4, chip the pucks in.
Yeah. It's ugly, boring hockey, but hey, it's effective. And it's hard when you got to skate through 4 guys to go get the puck on forecheck. It's a long night,
Yeah,
especially, you've had the bus trip up there or down, wherever you're coming from in that league. And Manchester just make himself tough to play against. The second season, you brought in Anthony DeLuca, who scored 29 league goals. I think he got quite a few in the cup as well. Yeah, 4 in the cup as well. How good of a player was he, and how huge of a pickup is he for a organization that is down towards like the mid to bottom end of that table?
yeah, and he just win games on his own, just when we needed goals and stuff like that. Obviously, a great player, and got a massive skill set. I don't know where he's playing this year. Actually, I think he's
Good question.
gone.
Let's have a little click.
I think he's got his passport, so he might be looking to get on the national team, I think.
So he signed in the Alps League for an Italian team. I'm not even gonna fucking bother. I'm literally not gonna even bother.
Yeah, so I think
Gahadina? Sorry.
yeah, whatever.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sure someone will correct me.
A massive pickup halfway through the year, and obviously, if he's putting up that many points, he's definitely going to help your team.
Oh, absolutely. Was there anyone like leading into your career, perhaps as the young nipper in Nottingham that's going down to watch the games and stuff? Was there any D-men that you looked at the Panthers that maybe you tried to mold your game around, or was you looking at maybe guys in the NHL? You think I like the way I like some of the style and try and mold a bit of the game off of them?
In the NHL, it'd probably be someone like Eric Carlson. I mean, I knew I was never gonna
Get 101 points in a
that,
show.
try stuff that he was doing and try and mold your game after that. But then Panthers, it wouldn't so much go down and watch and want to be someone like that. But when I was 14, I was skating with them, and Stevie Lee really took me under his wing, and really, for those 5 years, for the next 5 years, he was just always doing stuff at the end of practice, doing me like making sure before we go on the ice we warm up and just stuff like that. That you don't just come in and have a coffee and just turn up. It was more of like a job.
The Nicky Watt fucking warm up. Coffee, snooze.
Yeah.
Drop a deuce, ready to go. Let's go, boys. Here we go. But yeah, it's so important though when you get to that level to take it that seriously.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I owe a lot to Stevie, whether it's video sessions and stuff like that he took out of his own time to kind of help me.
As a Brit who has played obviously numerous games with the Panthers, numerous games with the Storm. Have you always found it to be inclusive from the coaching? Because one thing that I found as a young Brit in Basingstoke, it'd be like a lot of closed door shit and a lot of like, hey, you 5 imports, come over here and we're going to have this conversation. And you kind of sometimes just felt like you were left out or on the periphery, or you maybe not quite taken seriously. I don't know if that was just me or if you had any similar experiences.
Not really. I think it's all pretty much inclusive now. Obviously, I think
you're not allowed to hurt anyone's feelings anymore.
Exactly. I think the imports kind of understand now that the Brits are just as important. As you can't play a game with just 3 lines, and having that extra 4th line that's probably made up of Brits now, it gives them rest. But no, it was more, I don't know, it was just more inclusive. Obviously you get put in a Brit house. It's tough to mingle with the imports when you're all living together, which whatever. But no, I think it was all right for the most part.
You got a taste of what it was like to win down in Swindon, because you won the Autumn Cup, you won the National Cup. What was it like getting your first taste of like proper silverware?
Yeah, it was just like the cups. It was knowing, when we're going to Invicta and stuff like that on a Wednesday and stuff like that, those games are important, and knowing that it's all going to be important in the long run, and just knowing that you can't switch off and have a bad night or whatever. So yeah, like you say, having those older guys definitely helped that had probably won more stuff before the career. Having them kind of guys just help. But yeah, it was nice. Good night out. Started in the heart, of course.
Obviously, you got to go to Harvey. Dennis is going to look after the boys in the Harvey. We know that. It's a good community down there, and when you win wherever it is, it brings the guys closer together. You'll always remember that run. You'll always remember that cup and picking it up, and you'll remember most of the party after it, and that's what we want. Obviously, you're a younger guy, and you're taking the opportunity to go to Europe. But I imagine before you take that opportunity, there was a few clubs calling you up at the end of last season to inquire about what you were going to be doing this year. Any particular reason on leaving Manchester, or any reason on not going somewhere else in the Elite League and taking this opportunity to go to Europe so early?
Not really. I was just looking. I don't want to not get stuck in a rut, but just make sure that I'm always trying to better myself. And like I say, I was always wanting to go into Europe anyway. So having a few opportunities and just trying to find out which one's best. And obviously I've landed here, but it's something that I always wanted to do. Just make the Elite League was just going to try and be a stepping stone to try and make something. Obviously, if opportunities come later in the line, I'll obviously see what happens. But
you need to get that Benny O'Connor Kazakhstan contract under your belt, and then the beers are on you, lad.
Exactly. It's people like that you look and see what careers they've had, and just see where they've been or what options they took, and see what happens, when they come back, or whether they come back or not. So yeah, I know I definitely want to be in Europe for a couple of years, see what's best for me, whether it's here or at home,
mate. And that's it. That's the only thing you can do. You go out, you test it out. Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll never see you play in the Elite League again. Hopefully not. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, if we can get guys, and the good thing about that is you go out there and perform. Farms went out and performed. Dowdy goes out. Oki goes out. Matty Myers has just gone to Morzine. They then see that, oh, these fucking Brits, they're all right, they can play it. And then It opens up opportunities for the next generation to go, hey, we've got a good 21-year-old British kid that wants to come here. Fuck it, let's sign him. Let's sign him. He's going to be good. And if we can get good guys in Europe, it's just going to up our stock, especially if we manage to stay up in Pool A this year. Again, that was only going to help our stock. Are you like hoping that this year sets you on the way to perhaps be on that playing out to Czech this summer, next summer?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was one of the main things when I had a few options in the summer, just trying, how can I make the team, and what's going to be the best situation for me in the long run, whether it's I stay at this team or go to another one and just see a different style of hockey. But no, hopefully I can be on that team, and I'm obviously going to work as hard as I can. Try and make it.
Yeah, you might know more than I on this one, but Manchester have just signed a 16-year-old that was splitting time between Solway and I believe Manchester last year as the juniors. Do we know much? Do you know much about him? Was he skating with you guys? Is it Connor Lee? I want to say his name is. I might have just made that up. Let me have a look.
I don't know. I don't know whether he might have come out on a few practices. I'm not too sure. But
it's guys like that, though. That's what I mean. We've got to start getting young guys through these channels.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you had obviously my brother and Hoppo.
Yeah.
That have, they wasn't playing much in Nottingham, so they've had to go to Coventry and play. But it's
the Nottingham Panthers fucking GM and coach letting those two leave there should lose their job.
Yeah,
I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I'm just going to say this is my opinion. The fact that they've had to go to Coventry, shout out my boy Danny Stewart there, former podcast guest, absolute beauty. He will do great things. And the crazy thing about that is they could go there and love it and stay there for 3-4 years. And Nottingham was screwed, because if they treated those boys properly, and again, this is my words, not Joe's, they treated those boys properly, you could have probably had them for life.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you could have probably they could have been the next Matty Myers, Danny Myers combo, 10 years, sign them up, testimonial, let's go. And we need really good Brits. Hoppo is a joke.
Yeah, he's really good.
Mate,
skating with him is just like, some of the stuff he does.
He's one of my favourite young Brits. I thought he was excellent when he came down to the National League. He stepped up to the Elite League, never looks out of place, looks dangerous. I think he scored in both games at finals weekend this year. Give the Brits an opportunity. It will come good, I promise you. Right, let's one more question about Hungary, and then we'll wrap up with some cheesy ones. So if you were to lay out some personal goals and some team goals for you guys this year, obviously you said off air that people might not have, obviously won't have heard, but the team only won like 5-6 games last year, very young roster. What's the ambition going into this season? Is it's obviously going to be to improve on winning 6 games?
Yeah, definitely. We're not going to set the expectations too high and say we're going to win the league and stuff like that. But, we want to be up there competing, whether it's making the playoffs and having a good run in the Hungarian Cup or having a good run in the playoffs. The playoffs is different here. So I think you play best of 5 or 7. So
it's going to be so much fun, mate. You got to get in there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, that's the team goals. And then personal goals, I've never really put like a number on points and stuff like that, but I want to contribute offensively. I think that's my better part of my game. But it's definitely not defense anyway. So.
Well, is that more having like a bit of a free role to jump into the play, be that fourth guy that jumps in and makes it a 4-on-3 that creates offense from taking space in a neutral zone?
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that comes more natural to me, is just reading the play, and that's one thing I would say was one of my strengths, just being that extra guy and creating opportunities myself or teammates. I need to work on my defensive game, but I'm sure that'll come when we're on the ice twice a day.
And it does, and again, it comes with age as well. Age, experience. Like going back to Jonathan Weaver, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, but Weaves is so slow." I was like, "All right, go try and get around him." Good luck with that, because he's in the right place all the time, and he doesn't get tired, as you say, because hey, He's not having to rush around to get ready for a D to D. He's not having to rush around to back check through zones and stuff because he's always in the right place. And that's the sort of stuff as you get more experience, you play more games, you play against different competition, you're going to start picking up naturally anyway. What I'm going to ask you is some cheesy questions. Best player you've ever played with or against?
Played against would be Nikolai Ehlers.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
You might have heard of him. Yeah,
he's pretty
awesome.
solid.
Best player I've played with, probably Chris Stewart in Nottingham.
He was pretty sick. Yeah, NHL guy. He'll do. Okay, but he might be the answer for this one as well. Toughest player you played with or against? He's got to be up there.
Yeah, probably Gags actually.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nicest guy as well, eh?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Just unless you're getting punched in the face by him, then it's probably not that much fun. Okay, best coach you've ever played for? Could be junior, could be senior, however you want to go with it.
Probably Corey Nelson. Yeah.
Corey's little tire pump for Corey. Don't be afraid to come on, Corey. Come on. Just been waiting 4 years. Text his missus and be like, when's the old man coming on? But yeah, Corey's an exceptional coach and I like him because he's no bullshit.
Yeah, true. And, I grew up with Cade, so I was always around him and just, that first year in Nottingham that I had him, I learned a lot. Just, don't take any shit and just, get your head down, work as hard as you can. And obviously it's, paid off. He took me to Germany with him and now he's out in, he's coaching GB and then he's out in coaching.
How good's Cade right now?
Oh, yeah.
It's nasty.
Yeah, he's very good. But you always knew he was going to be good. But
yeah, you did, yeah. Even from like young time conference thing when I would be watching, he'd be 14 or whatever it was, and he'd be like, yeah, this kid's money. Okay, best rink you've ever played in?
Best rink. Probably Pee Wee tournament.
What, Quebec?
Pepsi Coliseum, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you played there's not many others that are going to get close to that. Although there'll be some cool rinks out in the league you're playing in this year, hopefully.
Yeah, Fusion was quite cool, actually.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I did a double IHF camp in Fusion. Very cool place, actually. Beautiful place. Hard camps, though, brutal. Finally, this is a fan one, and I love it. I know it bugs me that I can never remember who the fan is. If you were building an NHL franchise and you had one player to build the franchise around, who would it be and why?
I'd probably say Crosby, just because he makes everyone around him better. It was my favourite growing up, but yeah. I don't know. Is that a genre count? Is that
no, mate? I think the most answered one is Kel McCarr.
True, yeah, not bad.
And then obviously Connor gets chucked in the mix. But when guys start going down the veteran route, yeah, Crosby.
Yeah.
They go Crosby or Ovi, someone like that. I mean, Ovi's an absolute sniper, and he's probably my favorite NHL player. But in this instance, I would probably still take Crosby.
Yeah, just makes everyone around him better.
Yeah, and he's just he's just a beauty. You watch him play, everything he does, the goals he scored at the Olympics, the huge Stanley Cup goals, and just being there at the right time always, and performing on the spot every time. You can't really look past him. Right, Joe. For someone that doesn't talk well, lads, you did well. So those that listen, Joe's a little bit worried, but I think he nailed that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We like to speak to these young Brits here, and we're going to be getting an older Brit on very, very soon. And I think it may well be the biggest episode of 4,000 and counting ever. I will be dropping a name very, very soon who that is. Come back for the charity game video. We're going to be letting you know exactly how much money we raised. Joe, if you're around next summer, we'd love to get you on for the charity game. We've got one up in Solway, potentially one in Hull, and then one down in Slough. So if you're about, you and your kid brother, be happy to have you boys tearing it out there. Best of luck this season in Hungary. Hopefully, I've got a reason to come to Budapest to watch a game now. So maybe you'll see me out there at some stage this season, mate. Right, guys and girls, make sure you subscribe, do the comments, do the like, go buy us a coffee if you want to help out the pod, and we will see you again for another episode very, very soon. Peace.